Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today we're looking at something that's now quite old and incredibly rare. We are looking at the 2001 release by Mattel from their Masters of the Universe Commemorative Series 2 range of action figures. Now, these Commemorative series were basically reissues of the original 1980s He-Man Masters of the Universe action figures that basically engripped the nation. All of the boys of the 1980s were playing with Masters of the Universe toys. They were probably the biggest toy, one of the biggest toy items throughout the 1980s. And it was like almost like Dalek mania, but it was He-Man mania that gripped the nation. And these toys went from strength to strength. Obviously, over the course of time, they died down, and despite the fact that Master of the Universe TV series continued to operate, they weren't as popular as they were back in the original 1980s, and maybe part of the 90s as well. But Mattel decided, okay, it might have had a day, but we're going to reissue these figures. So they basically run most of the popular figures from the 1980s, and they called it the Commemorative series. And this one we're looking at today is from the Commemorative series 2. It is a limited edition figure of only one of 15,000 pieces worldwide. And this is the figure of Battle Armor He-Man. Okay, so this is the packet that it comes in. So it comes in this box, protective box, and it says at the top, Commemorative Series 2, limited edition, one of 15,000 pieces, Masters of the Universe, and at the bottom it's got Battle Armor He-Man, authentic replica of the original figure, and you've got the Mattel logo, and it's item number 53482. Sorry, 53492, I should have said. And there, behind the window, you can see, or behind the cardboard bubble, you can see the action figure on the card as it would have been in the 1980s when it was first released. Okay, but before we have a good look at the figure, I just want to turn the box around and let's see what we got printed on the back. I've turned the box around and I've zoomed into the top of the box, and we're going to have to do this, view this box in two halves, because one, it's a big box, and secondly, it has got a very reflective surface, and thirdly, it's just reflecting off light. So I've angled the box so that we can see the images on the back of the card quite clearly, and I'm probably going to have to move the box in order for us to see the lower section of the box. So at the top, you can see He-Man battling one of the Skeletor's men, and it says He-Man, most powerful man in the universe, and now shielded by his mighty battle armor. It says Master of the Universe 5.5-inch action figures, which is just under 14 centimeters. Collect them all, each sold separately. So that's the top half of the box. If we move down to the second half, or just begin to look at the second half, so I'm trying to angle this so we don't get that reflection. So it says, roll drum down with your thumb until no dents appear. So if you can see that on his battle armor, so you can roll it down with your finger. And just below that it says, let's just bring that up there so you can see it clearly without too much reflection. Strike breastplate, a dent shows. And at the bottom section it says, strike again, 2 dent shows, repeat steps 1 to 3. Okay, so that's how the battle armor works. And then it shows you the figures in this collection. So again, I'm trying to angle this so that let me just try it without the light. Is that any better? Oh, there, that's much better. Okay, so we've got, I'm just going to zoom in on these so we can see them a little bit more clearly. So we've got a Battle Armor He-Man, and it's figures most powerful man in the universe. Teela figure, heroic warrior goddess. Man at Arms figure, heroic master of weapons. Now we come down to the next row. We've got Mechanic, Heroic Human Periscope. It says not available. I wonder why it says not available. Okay. Many Faces, Heroic Human Robot Monster. Again, not available. Ram Man, Heroic Human Battering Arm Ram. Not available again. I wonder why they've got not available on there. I don't quite understand that, but there we go. So then we've got Skeletor figure, Master of Destruction. You've got Beastman figure. And that is Evil Henchman. And you've got Evelyn figure, Evil Warrior Goddess. And the last ones at the bottom, you've got Merman figure, Evil Ocean Warlord. Triclops figure, Evil and Sees Everything. And Trapjaw figure, Evil and Armed for Combat. So that is the figures. Then you've got the barcode at the bottom there. So I'm just going to pull back so we can see the whole card there. And there we have, and you're getting my reflection in the side there, which is what I didn't want, but there we are. Unfortunately, that's unavoidable. If I add the light back on, yeah, then we just get the light going across. So it's best to have the light off in this case. Okay, anyway, that's the back of the card. We've pretty much seen everything that's on the back. So let's turn the card back round to the front and we'll have a very good look at the figure itself. Okay, so I have zoomed right in on the figure itself, and there you can see He-Man with his blonde hair, and he's wearing his battle armor there. You can see on the drum that he's facing front at the moment, it's got the 2 strikes, so he's been hit twice with a sword. So you spin it down one, and it goes back to where it's no marks on his chest. You spin it down again, and there's 1 mark on his chest. Spin it again, and we're back to 2 marks on his chest. So that was his battle armor protection. You can see the size of his arms. His arms are huge. And there he's down into his trunks with his gold belt on. And all the way down to his feet with his brown boots. And you can see the muscles just rippling from him, just like a WWF wrestler, I suppose. But that is He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Now, I just want to check the size on this, because it says it was 14 centimeters. So let's get some measurements. So if we're measuring from the bottom of his feet, we're looking at, it's actually, oh, I've got the ruler the wrong way up, that's why I can't make out the size. So we're looking at 14 centimeters. Let's measure across his hands, because that's going to be his widest point, and that's about 10 centimeters. And depth wise, we're looking at approximately about 4 centimeters deep. Articulation, I don't think these figures were great articulation. So you just have the arms that moved up and down, the head moved from side to side, the waist turned, and the legs, tops of the legs moved up and down. So really no great articulation on these figures. But then this is an exact copy of the figures from the 1980s. And in the 1980s, they didn't have fantastic articulation. And obviously technology moved on so much since then. Well, even since these were produced in 2001. So even this reissue figure is 23 years old now. And technology has massively moved on in just those 23 years. So there we are. So yeah, overall the likeness of He-Man is pretty damn good to the character from the Master of the Universe television series, Prince Adam, otherwise known as. But so the facial features are about right, but you can't really get it wrong because it's a comic character, a cartoon character, I should say. And there we have it. So there's no great articulation, nothing wonderful. He does actually come with his sword and his battle axe, which I don't know if you can just see at the bottom. There's a bag behind him with those attachments in, and also you've got a comic at the back. Again, it's a replica of the original comic that would have come with the figure, and it just says Masters of the Universe, and I can't see what else it says on the comic because He-Man is sitting in the way of the comic. So but there we are. So that is the figure. Now, obviously, as we said, this was a very, very limited edition of only 15,000 pieces worldwide, as it tells you that at the top of the box. How well did this figure do? Well, we all know the original figures of the 80s done absolutely phenomenally well. Like I say, every kid, every boy was into He-Man, every girl was into She-Ra. So, and they basically emerged from the same Master of the Universe TV series before She-Ra went off to her own television series. So, yeah, it's just so popular back in the 80s. Obviously, the popularity died down as people grew up. The next generation, something else come in and tickled their fancy. But certainly for kids growing up in the 80s and the early 90s, Master of the Universe was one of the biggest animated programs for kids. And obviously it spawned this massive franchise of action figures and play sets and castles and all sorts of things that Mattel produced based on the television series. So in 2001 they decided to release these commemorative series. So they were only about 20 years old at the time, maybe a bit less than that. I can't remember the exact date when Master of the Universe first hit the TV screens, well, actually I can remember. So He-Man and the Master of the Universe was 1983 and ran for 2 years to 1985. She-Ra, Princess of Power, was 85 to 87, and then they spawned the New Adventures of He-Man, which is 90 to 91, and then there was He-Man and the Master of the Universe, which is 2002 to 2004, which is probably why they produced these classic figures again. Obviously technology had moved on and they were re-releasing, or they were releasing new figures, but then they decided to go back to doing these classic ones and make them collector's figures, and that's obviously what they have become. So how well did these figures do in 2001? Well, yes, they done pretty well. All of the limited edition range sold out quite quickly, and that was it. They didn't do any more, and that's obviously a thing with manufacturers of action figures. They produce the figures that are in the current eye, if you like, the popular television series at the time. As soon as popularity dwindles, they finish the line, move on to the next one. So pretty much all action figures are limited edition to a certain point, but obviously some have more than others. 15,000 pieces worldwide is very small quantity of figures produced, and obviously these particular figures, these commemorative series, are not released for children. They are released for the adult collectors to just have and display. So yes, they done quite well. They sold out of the 15,000 and that was the end of the line. Do they come up very often on the platforms? No, not really. They don't come up very often at all, really. And you notice on the back, I don't think they done the whole range, because there's was at least 4 on the back of the card that said not available. So maybe they just didn't have enough of the enough sales, or they must have had the sales, but maybe they just didn't think that the volume would be there to produce those in those numbers and sell them. I don't know. But anyway, they don't come up very often on platforms, and when they do, they're usually bought very quickly, especially if they're like this particular one in the mint sealed box that has never been opened. And these particular commemorative figures are almost now as valuable as the original 1980s figures. So if you do happen to see them at a flea market or somewhere like that, I would recommend that you grab them, because they are certainly worth a few bob or two. So no, they don't come up very often on the platforms, and if they do, they're usually opened out of the packets, and obviously been played with or what have you. Yeah, I mean, even so, these were, like I say, these were designed for the adult collectors, not the kids, but they were still taken out of the package. And maybe they were just used as display items, I don't know. But you do see from time to time come without the packaging. But finding them in the packaging, like this one, still sealed, is quite rare these days. However, we at Minor Touch have managed to find a few of these. and they're currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage He-Man and Master of the Universe figures, and many other toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive that this is something you won't want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this very rare item with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.